Hey everyone, welcome to True Sidereal Astrology and the Sky for the week of August 17th through the 23rd. All right, let's get into it. So at the beginning of the week, we have the Sun opposing Lilith, and Lilith in astrology has 3 different placements. This one that I'm talking about is the asteroid and is the only physical placement in the actual sky above us. So when the Sun opposes Lilith, we have a tension in this push or pull energy that needs to be harmonized by making some sort of a choice. And so Lilith says, I want to be free from control. I want to be free to express my feminine power. I want to be very free sexually. And she wants to be not restrained in any type of way, to express herself, even the taboos that society deems taboo. And so when the Sun wants to express this on a conscious level and in a Leo way. So the Sun wants to express that opposition that we might be feeling societally and collectively with perhaps governments, laws, rules, regulations that are coming to light. And we may even see communities coming together to creatively express the opposition. And so Lilith wants to be free. She wants to express herself freely without retribution and without punishment, and she definitely doesn't want to be put in a box and controlled. And so we may see a lot more expressions than even what we have been around issues of power and control in regards to governments and systems and society in general. We also, on Monday, have the moon square Saturn and Neptune. And while Saturn and Neptune are conjunct together in Pisces, the moon will once a month meet up with these 2 planets and make all of these different aspects and shapes. And in this case, she will square Saturn and Neptune, and she'll do this, of course, once a month until Saturn and Neptune are no longer conjunct together. So when the moon squares Saturn and Neptune, it's another opportunity to go within and say, how are my daily responsibilities going? Is there anything that I can do to tweak my daily responsibilities to make my time management easier for myself? That's all Saturn energy. And then Neptune says, what other goals do I have, and how can I implement these goals into my daily life? So when the moon squares this Saturn and Neptune energy, there is a challenge internally and even emotionally. Perhaps we are seeing and we are feeling challenged with our new tasks and responsibilities. Perhaps we're feeling emotions about our daily activities. The Schumann has been wild and the energies have been wild. And this week on the 18th or 19th, we're supposed to get the energy from the Sun's coronal hole that showed up a few days ago. And so that's going to also impact us, and it'll show up on the Schumann, and I'll post that later on. And so there's all of these energies going on right now. And so there is tension and there's challenges, but there is some trines and some good energy too. But I think it's important to, the trines and the good placements happen quite naturally. And so I think it's always a really good idea to focus on what may not feel as good so that we know, so that we can feel a little bit more comfortable and okay. Like, okay, this is just the energy of the day and I'm not going crazy or something like that. And as I was saying, these are 2 images from the Schumann from last week. And this, you can see these white spikes in this energy. And so this energy is coming in and breaking up this dense energy. This red, yellow, orange energy is dense. So in this case, this is from majority lightning. However, this week we'll see the coronal hole energy showing up. We'll see what that does. So, and we've also have some timeline jumps down here as well, shown as the black streaks on the bottom there. And so the white light is also thought to give us DNA upgrades. And so because our body is going through, and the earth, and every being on the earth is going through these changes, it's really good to make sure you're hydrated. That helps to integrate the energies into your cells with greater ease. And if you're not hydrated, the energy is not going to get spread around as well. Okay. Here I did put a trine, and this is the Sun trine Chiron. So the Sun is making a harmonious and naturally flowing aspect with Chiron retrograde in Pisces. It's a beautifully healing and heart-opening aspect, and after all of the tension and challenges, this can bring some relief for this week. So Leo's warmth allows our hearts to softly open, and it allows us to see our wounds from our past, what may still be bothering us, and allow for healing. Getting creative, dancing, singing, coloring, or painting may help to release and alchemize the denser wounded energy, leading to profound healing. Music is also another great way, and I say this because Chiron is currently in Pisces, and the Sun is in Leo. So either of those expressions are really good for releasing and beginning to heal those wounds, those Chiron wounds, which are our deepest wounds. And so they are definitely felt. However, sometimes we really have to focus on why that may be occurring. All right, so let's see here. Venus enters Cancer this week. So this gives an extra amount of heart warmth, which I think we're really needing after all of this energy coming in, and it's kind of been sharp and dense, and it's made us feel quite exhausted, and body aches, tummy issues, certain body issues happening with some people. And so when Venus enters Cancer, we can become more emotional, sentimental, nostalgic. We long for nurturing, more affection, and the comforts of home and family. Emotional security within relationships is also highlighted. And with Cancer being a protective sign, we may need to establish certain boundaries within our relationships in order to make us feel safe and protected. And our intuition may peak during her journey through Cancer. Of course, the moon rules Cancer. And it's kind of lovely that on the day that Venus enters Cancer, the moon will also be transiting, making her way through the sign of Cancer as well. And Cancer is all about using your intuition, needing to feel safe and protected, that crab in that shell. There's this beautiful post that I'll show you all, but there have been some purple crabs found somewhere in Asia, I believe. And when these purple crabs appear, it's usually a good sign of that particular ecosystem doing really well. So I thought that was interesting as this week Venus enters Cancer and all of that. And so I'll post that because that was really neat, I thought. Okay, and then we also have Uranus trine Pluto. This is one aspect that I also posted last week. This will happen for several years. So once in a while, I'll go ahead and put this back in here just to remind us. So when we have a trine, it is a natural flowing harmonious energy, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's positive or negative. It just is. And so in this case, with Pluto in the mix and Uranus, we have Uranus that gives this unexpected events and occurrences abruptly that surprises us and kind of shocks us. And like I've mentioned before, Uranus, the planet itself, is encompassed in lightning storms. And when lightning is in the mix and in the picture, it's abrupt change to break up any dense energy that's happening. So in this case with Pluto, it's unearthing fears, shadowy aspects, issues around power and control, and the need to transform them. And so we may see certain events that may have to do with finances, real estate, and our collective need to feel safe and secure. And as some of these things are being unearthed that are darker in nature, that make us feel afraid, we may feel not quite safe. However, that is happening so that we can build a new foundation, a more stable foundation, as Uranus is in Taurus, which that's what Taurus is all about. Okay. And then on the 23rd, we have a new moon in Leo, and it's a great time. So right before the new moon is a beautiful time to release anything regarding your self-confidence, showing up authentically, creative expression. Any blocks around those type of things can be released at that time, and then we can initiate a new beginning. How can I feel more confident? How can I show up authentically as myself? How can I express myself creatively, no matter that may look like a bazillion different things? And then once that idea is initiated on the new moon, take and plan action steps in order to accomplish those goals. All right. So the weekly summary this week may begin with a bit of a rocky start, with thoughts and emotions rising to the surface regarding speaking up and out against being controlled and having to submit to certain rules or laws that suppress our very being. For the last couple of weeks, we have had high energy showing up on the Schumann. While it's meant to help heal and improve us, the original wave impact can feel intense. And as we begin processing the information on an energetic wave, emotional and physical level. So, and once again, the energy goes through layers and it takes time to integrate, which is why that water is so important. It helps move things around and not keep it so stuck. We are majority water, and so we need that water to help us keep things moving and flowing within our body. And like I had said before, we're going to have some more energy coming in. I don't know how intense it'll be until it gets here, but it will be from the coronal hole, and we'll see what else we will be getting this week. And so later in the week, we have some trines, which may help smooth out some rough edges, bringing a sense of relief to our bodies and our systems. And then it helps a lot that Venus enters Cancer this week, and it further helps us to soften our hearts even more, making it easier to connect with our relationships in an open-hearted manner while still being able to protect ourselves. And then the new moon in Leo asks us, where have we been dimming our light, and how can we show up more authentically and passionately? Thank you all for joining me this week, and I offer weekly newsletters if you would like to sign up at realskyrevelations.com. That's my website. You can also book your natal chart reading in True Sidereal 13 sign, your yearly progressions and transits. I also offer that as well. So you can get your solar return reading, which would be the same thing as your yearly, just on your birthday. I also do tarot readings, and I will be beginning to incorporate some other things and offerings as well, which I'm really excited to bring to you all. All right. Thank you and blessings for a relieving and healing week ahead.